feel like I know you, and all this shit. And I said, where are you from? And she goes, you see that little apartment right over there? That's my apartment. And I went like, oh my God. What this woman has seen. How many acid trips has she witnessed? How many 14-hour orgies has she participated in? How many times when I threw the cat across the room and I mean, the horrible, kick somebody, like this woman's been there. You didn't even know. She was like, wonder what people go through. It's like a little old lady. He's beating her.
And now she lives for it.
Anyway, she had to come over to get a haircut. She had to I just had to meet you.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, no. Because I used to like the show when I was little, A Naked City.
Yeah.
Behind all these anonymous windows, lies.
8 million stories.
You know what I mean? I love that shit. By the way, it's making money isn't bad either. And some of these shows need to be revived for television, but with a 2001, Naked City. Yeah. All these people that are cool, that are at the Hudson Hotel, that you were at the Mercer and are so Celine Dion, but early, or all these people that are presenting themselves as baby starlets. These all have immense tragedy stories, and who became the newest model, but she's really, we want to know, because underneath it, I know it isn't perfect. Like, there was a story in the New York Times yesterday about how Andre Balazs in his hotel, and Katie Ford, and she's selling Ford, and some big conglomerate's buying it, it's $55 million, and she'll miss it, but she'll pop in once in a while, and her little, when they got married, they stayed in a yurt, because they're the unusual couple of the century, and all this bullshit. I felt like writing a letter saying, did you print the part about where she caught him in bed with a male model in the Paris hotel? Or did you... They never print that shit.
Yeah, of course
I want the juicy parts. I don't want to hear how everybody's life is perfect. Because actually it's a fucking lie. And it's being perpetrated on me. Then I go into my life going, what's wrong with me? I'm not fabulous. I'm not rich. I don't make the right decisions. No, they don't either, but their publicist doesn't allow the failures to get out. Do you know how many fucking canvases have been thrown away for the few that are in the museums? Hundreds of millions of wonderful pieces of art have been burned, thrown in the garbage for the 5 that the gallery dealer thinks she can sell to her clients, who are architects and doctors. People who know nothing about what they're looking at. Art has always been purchased by people who knew nothing about it.
Why is that so outrageous?
Oh, masses commissioned by sinners that you couldn't believe. Churches paid for by popes who had children, wives, slaves, and orgies.
Yeah.
If they were guiltless, like Pope John the 23rd, they don't make a basilica. They don't need a fucking stamp, coin, medal, plume. I love that dude. The first thing he gets elected Pope, the very first minute he gets that crown on there, he goes to the prison in Rome and gives communion to the prisoners.
Which Pope is this?
John the 23rd.
To pick out the little boys he wanted.
You know what I mean? What'd you say?
Who taught you about truth?
I always knew about it. The trouble is, you don't have to be taught about truth. You are taught to lie. So if nobody teaches you to lie, you're just left with your truth.
Your truth.
Everybody's got a piece of truth.
Yeah.
Everybody's existence is existence.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Wholly unto itself. Every fucking plant has its own space, destiny, occurrence, series, sequence, etc. Now, to make that any more or less than it is human and false. To build things up, to build things down. The basis of anything, the basis of taking some vines and weaving them into a rope, and imagining, it's not a vine, that's a rope. In the word, the way you define evil, that's an evil act. But you have to look at the original creation stories. Man, just dependent on his environment to provide for him, is beautiful. But as soon as he starts wearing clothes, needing a shelter, gathering food for the winter, this kind of thing, he's got to be devious. He's got to be slicker than the whole environment around him in order this dominion shit, where it's all mine and I just have to figure out how to abuse it. So, the thing about truth, trees don't lie. Spring never lied. A little bit, they fib a little, but they don't really do it to you. They don't stick it up your ass and expand therein. And, truth has a little cock that slides in and out, whereas falsehood is like a bull dick. It goes in and then it swells up about this big and you can, I'm stuck. It's like a dog fuck. You have to wait 15 minutes for the stuckedness to go away. So I've really been analyzing the difference between positive and negative a long time. You know, why does it seem that bad shit sticks around, like this bad smell on shit on your foot, but really good things like good tastes, they go away like instantly. You take a taste of something, wow, that's good. You immediately like, I want more. That wasn't enough. It wasn't long enough. I need more of that. An orgasm. Why is it that making love is this long and an orgasm is that wide? No, wait a minute. So then they say, okay, change your priorities. Don't look for the orgasm. Just look at the process is the whole thing. And it's a bunch of crap. That process worship shit. Oh, yes, it's the hunt, not the catch. Bullshit. That's bullshit. That's modern people. They've got every problem solved. They just tell themselves that. I used to like the books where everybody jumps off a cliff together. You know, the Lemmings thing where the pipe. When I was little, I loved where the town treated this guy bad, and so he put a curse on the kids. He said he would come back, and he came back and with his flute led them all. Like this one, it was like Peyton Place. You know, that girl, that nice family. She went to St. Rita's home. And other people steal from their brother-in-law. Jackie Kennedy. The story there is that 2 generations previously there was a little money made and it was all siphoned to one part of the family. The rest of the family lived in unrepaired mansions and didn't get the educational quality or the, to bring someone up even in the old days was expensive. Those tours in Europe and the pretty dresses and just the right way of being. In reading the Desaad, the most recent biography, which talks a lot about his father as well. Sure. The kings used to keep the nobles poor with that court shit. Although they had you had to have new horses, you'd have to have servants just to go to court, a place to do it in, outfits for each kind of, today we're having, it's just like at John George. I have to always remember that that's the culture he comes from. Like, so what are you going to do for Thanksgiving? I mean here. And it's like, he wants me to do like beaver from the woods hunt. Or he wants, like in Europe with, today we're doing a bison celebration. You have to make up this bullshit. And you have to remember, in Europe they've been doing that for years. It's either St. Rita's birthday or Founder's Day or Boxer's Day. They invent all this shit to keep the people busy when they're not working. They don't want riots in the streets. And the difference between the haves and the have-nots has been bothering people for 5,000 or 6,000 years. I asked a Jewish girl I was really close to once, and I was in such pain. I said to her, Jane, why is it like this? And she said, well, she used to call me Goog. She said, Goog, it's basically a war. I've asked my uncles, they're like big Jewish financier type guys, and they said it's basically a war that's been going on for several thousand years between the haves and the have-nots, and the haves are winning. And I thought, gee, I never need to have that explained to me again. It's claro, signora. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah. I read there's this thing the other day that's saying that, the difference between even on just those who even hit the economic scale, right? Even the ones who get onto the economic scale. The difference in their standard, whatever it is, the ones in the mid-range of the rough ends of the economic scale, those who have and those who don't have.
Yes, but the ideas very rarely come from those who have. Ideas come from struggle.
Of course it comes from,
and from need.
Pressure.
From.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, even now, all this bullshit talk about globalization, all this kind of crap, and da-da-da. They're saying that
the roots of globalization.
From 1950, those who had and those who don't have, the percentage was like they had 400 times more than those who don't. Now it's up to that has increased by over 75 times.
Yes, now it used to be that rich people had a house in the country. Now they have 4 houses, one in L.A., one in Trinidad, one in... No, it's a thing. If you're rich now, you're very fucking rich.
Yeah.
But also, let's face it, if you have a little money to start with, it's a little bit easier to work it along. Like you've had ideas, even like this project. If your parents, if it was Daddy, I need a little more Daddy, Daddy coughs it up, and it's a little easier than tending bar and...
Yeah.
This man knows no manners.
It's not a matter of manners.
It's an invasion. I've talked to
Of
a
course
couple
it's
of shrinks about it.
Of course it's an invasion. You think it,
I said to someone yesterday, what I don't like is when he comes over and he doesn't, and I'm not in the mood for that, it's a form of rape. And she said to me, yes, actually it is. You're very right about that. And I said, it's a form of rape, and I don't like it. It's intellectual and emotional rape. It's not voluntary. And it doesn't mean I'll give you a better or worse performance when I decide to, but there are times when I want you to take a picture of my asshole, and there are other times when I don't want you to take a picture of my asshole. So, you know, life is like that. We've got that cerebral sphincter that we're dealing with. And sometimes it's too dilated, and I don't want you to see past the fucking sphincter into the black hole, okay? Plus, what I don't like about film is then it's caught on film, and they think that that's truth. Like my mother has films of when I was 8, and she thinks that, oh look, they're happy. No, I tried to kill myself the week just before that, and she thinks I'm happy because you can project onto an image anything you want. The girl coming down the stairway at Tara, flinging herself into the Beauregard's arms. Now he's that, I mean, there's a lot of things you can ascribe to it. Look at what Mexicans think about that. Oh, gringo lady and her gringo dreams. You know, not real. Anyway, I have a lot of problems with this unorthodox approach to privacy that your friend exhibits here.
Well, I suppose.
I get paranoid at times too.
Yeah.
I mean, I spent time yesterday thinking, maybe Jerry works for so-and-so and has been sent here to, you know, I mean, it gets down to that level. You know, if I feel like I would, if you were making a good movie, you might like fisticuffs might break out on the set every once in a while. Because the stress of the pull between the director and the actor can be intense. Where it's just, people don't wear their insides on their outsides readily. You usually have to rape them to see the insides. Prolapse, I call it psychospiritual prolapse, where you go in and start crawling around, and then you go, oh look, prolapse occurred. Ha ha, look at the genius bleeding. You know, it's not fun if you're the person that's happening to. So, and a camera also confirms in a potential paranoiac that there is somebody watching you. There is some recording of your emotions. They're not just vaporous and momentary and yours. You cease to own them when someone captures them in almost an African magical way. You know, primitive tribes, they feel...
Some other way, though, you reclaim them as well.
Other people claim them, is what I think. Your life no longer is your property once it's on a piece of film. Is it? Ask anybody who's a Hollywood star. That Madonna, you know, wants suddenly to return to being a human being for a minute or two and not a fucking megastar. But she can't because she's changed the nature of her life. Like making a religious vow in front of 200,000 people. Only hers was a vow of starhood or whatever they call that. I don't know what it is. I deal with a lot of those people and it's an illness. There's something wrong with the star system. Marilyn Monroe is my saint in this that I say. You can take a perfectly nice human being who is a glamour queen, who is a wonderful person, and you can play with that and then destroy it and throw it away like a piece of trash. And underneath that there was a human being, a life that was very valuable. But anyway, you know, it's just very hard to talk about those things. Like, I don't think anybody around Marilyn understood her. I think her housekeeper is the Jason who tries to, oh no, that's too much medication. Oh no, give her more of this medication. No, I mean, 20 minutes to call the doctor instead of right away. Or, you know, people who think they're doing the right thing and they're not. You know, I've had people in my life, all my life doing that, think they're doing the right thing for me. And I've been screaming lately to the few that are left, if you just do literally what I want, what I say, you'll come out better than trying to take what I'm saying, think about it your way, and approach things. It's like, you know, that Raquel thing really killed me. If you really love someone and you really open yourself up to them, they will fuck you. That's what it said to me. Like if I have $10,000 extra that I've saved from working, and I have it around the house, that if I go to sleep and take a nap and my friends are here, and I wake up and there's no $10,000. And that's my life. many, many times over. I never seem to learn. I figured out that I'm mostly furious at myself for believing in people at all, or for, like Rambo didn't believe in anybody. He said, fuck it. He didn't believe in any authority. He believed in corruption. He believed in decay. He was one of the first people to really open almost in a like evil religion way, almost, but it wasn't, to him it wasn't about that. But I love the fact he became a slaver. I love the fact that he was living an extreme, kind of primitive. When you get primitive about life, as a man especially, you get closer to what life seems to have been really real. Like in India, when you go to India and you see all these swarms of masses of, that's more real. Not this, honey, can you bring home some cat food? In his BMW from his office as a neurologist with the kids, the au pair, and the second house. I find it very hard to relate to my own society. This landlord wants me to get out of this house, and he's willing to buy me another house to live in. And at first I hated the idea. And now the only thing that turns me on thought-wise is that maybe I could, what can I get in Patagonia for that amount of money? It's the first thing I made them do. They go like, we'll get you something like for this much money, And I'm thinking, where is that a lot of money? Because right here, that is not a lot of money. In New York, that is not a lot of money. In our peak of our civilization on Madison and 62nd, that's piss in a pot. That's nothing. I can't even buy Christmas gifts for that. But if you go to Upper No Lake, nowhere, if you want to be alone, if you go to Kenya, you can get a lot for $500,000. You know what I mean? If you go to Turkey, you can.
$500,000?
I don't know, but I found a house in the south of France that sounds pretty fucking good.
You want to be surrounded
16th century.
Want to be surrounded by Germans?
I don't know. It says really rural area. I like French. French are nasty too. I don't like anybody. I had to picture it the other day, like, who would I have a drink with at 4 o'clock in the afternoon? And they go, no one. And I thought, that could be good. It's like I'm really going in reverse. I had somebody at the hotel write me a really nice letter, a guy I really, really like, that 4 years ago I wished was more friendly than it became. And I used to send this guy's mother in Texas poppies.
Really?
And he didn't know about it for a long time. Finally, his mother wrote a letter to him saying that wonderful friend of yours who speaks so well of you, and please say thank you to him and for the poppies. So he confronts me and goes, have you been sending my mother flowers? And I said, yes. He said, first of all, how did you find out where my mother lives? And I said, I just did. I found out where you were from, and I called information and asked for the name. And I got the address. And I knew your mother's name would be Dolly. I like any woman named Dolly. And he said, well, how did you know that poppies were her favorite thing? I said, once in conversation you told me that. Because you asked me in a bouquet, what are those? I said, poppies. And he said, oh, those are my mother's favorite. And so I thought, well, I want to get into this guy's pants and brain. So I think I'll start by sneakily sending his. I'll get to know his mother first. I like that shit. And so anyway, he wrote a letter. I just got relieved of my post at the Mercer due to some third world faggots sexual harassment or something. I don't even know how it goes. Anyway, they fucked me. And
It's
then
gone
Raquel's got that account now.
It's gone completely.
She has hired people that you've met over at Paris Commune to seduce the staff. The place is run by homosexuals and third world jerks. And so what she did was undercut my price, offer to do it for less, and be very seductive with her staff towards the appropriate people. Yeah. And I'm not into that in New York. I don't send my tattooed ex-prostitute assistant to go, around with the director of the hotel, who's like this big queen. And he's like, oh, he's so handsome. Oh, he's got the right tattoos all over his body. Oh, he's got a great body. Oh, he's a great piece of ass. And so the account switches. And I have to go home and cry and think, well, I didn't send the faggot to give blowjobs, and I didn't give them bottles of liquor, and I didn't bribe them and cajole them and send them to dinners at various places. I didn't play that game. And that's to my stupidity, obviously. And, but more than that, when I found out that girl was a gypsy, I learned a lot, and it's now has ramified on everything I feel about everything. Like, I kept saying, why is she doing this to me? Why didn't she just go get her own clients? She's got the basic starter kit of clients. Why does she keep, like, oh, David does them, let's get them. Oh, I'm going to get this. Yeah. I don't do that. I fought for her not to work for me for months. Somebody tried to get her to work at the flower shop, And what I realized is that now that I go over it, from the very beginning she had been ripping me off. For example, one of the first jobs I took her on was Diane Sawyer. And after the first time, Diane Sawyer's assistant was a lesbian and really liked Raquel. And was like, oh, here's my card, we should have lunch. I was like, within 2 weeks I didn't have that account. 6 months later, I got a note from Diane Sawyer's husband, who's a friend of my father's, saying he really loves the tulips that I always send. And I called up and I said, hello, this is David Brown from the flower shop. Who does your flowers? She said, the flower shop. At the office. I said, oh, okay. What, a girl with brunette hair? Yeah. Okay, that was the first time. Then the next one was I took her to Versace house, and we were doing, for a long time, Donatella. And the whole mansion. And she started speaking Italian with them, and within 2 or 3 weeks stole the customer from me. Has been doing that. Those people, she calls them up, talks Italian. They go to like meditation groups together. The guy who's the housekeeper there is into that Japanese Nichiren Shonshu, chant for a mink coat people. Those chanters, those Buddhists that chant to get stuff. And they, so Raquel went with him to that chanting, and so they became buddies, and they went to the theater together, and she played the game. I'm a person who never goes to a party that I've done. I've been invited even this week. Oh, and you're going to come, aren't you? Listen, I never come to parties that I do the decoration for. First of all, I give so much when I'm doing the decoration, I don't have it to go to the party. I said, plus, I know you're just doing that to be nice and formal, because I've never been your friend before. I like being your florist. I think I'll have a longer time being your florist if I don't try to be your friend. But that's my philosophy, not these other people. Other people want, oh yeah, I'll be there. And then they go and get some really pretty friend, and they say, come on, this is important for me, so you have to come, and we have to pretend we're enjoying ourselves, meet all these old people we don't like. And, you'd be surprised. I listened to, one night there was Ingrid C. She was sending a big bouquet to Donna Karen. It was raining, and it was a Saturday afternoon about 4 o'clock. And it was in winter, and Raquel's sitting there, and the call comes in, and I said I would do it. Raquel said, why do you do that to yourself? Why don't you just tell them to go fuck themselves? You can't be doing that kind of stuff. This is ridiculous. Where are we going to get somebody to go out there now, and what do we have to give? So I went over to the salon, got some stuff that I had done there, a big, gorgeous bouquet of calla lilies, wrapped it up, called up. I had a little assistant helping us. His father had told me, anytime you need anything, I can help you out, blah, blah, blah. It was Saturday night. I called him up in New Jersey. I said, you want to earn $150 cash? He goes, yes, I do. As a matter of fact, how? And I said, can you drive a bouquet out to East Hampton? He said, when? I said, right now. You'd have to leave now. And he said, okay, I'll be there in about half an hour. He comes in a half an hour. The thing's this big. It's wrapped. It's got fabulous ribbons. The ribbon was worth more than a bouquet. A note from me saying, so sorry this is a little late, but, it was just ordered this afternoon. It's raining. It was hard to deliver. Love, David, flower shop, blah, blah, blah. Put in the note from Ingrid. Says he drives it out there. The woman, he said he gave it right to her. She was totally flabbergasted that anybody would go to that trouble. He drove back. I gave them $100 for doing it beyond the money I paid him so they could have dinner, the son and the father, at the Palm in East Hampton. And then they drove back. Well, about 2 months later, when Donna Karen had, for the third time, requested that we do her flowers in her shop and in her home and in her this and her that, Raquel, that was just about when she was quitting, she took that phone number and told Donna Karen that she had made that bouquet and had sent it out. This is just what she had advised me not to do. It goes on and on and on like this. I found out about a month ago that she's had a set of keys to my house and to my business all this past year and a half. It goes on.
Who is this person?
This is a person, I can't explain. I've been explaining. Yeah. She's a person who lives in the village who's poses as an Italian girl.
So what did you learn from her?
I haven't been learning too much lately. I've
Why?
been hurting too much, bleeding from the anus, and having 500 blood sugars and going in the hospital, and ulcerations on my feet and legs. Like, in other words, what happens when
So
somebody
who's
with my
advising you?
diseases is that the stress adds a lethal factor to the
Yeah.
disease, and everything else starts going wrong.
Yeah.
I think that's true of other diseases as well. And you can have a heart attack when somebody tells you your wife just got run over.
Yeah.
It's this relation between stress and disease is well established. And in a lot of people, if they get down emotionally, if they get sick, like if I told you your mom just died,
Yeah.
you might get a cold next week.
Yeah.
Because you're down, your system's down. It's not I don't like to complain too much, and yet I'm complaining because I'm trying to save my fucking life. The last couple of weeks, you don't know. There was 2 days that were really rough.
So what's the deal now?
The deal now is I'm so heavy that nothing can hold the rope. You're the only one I know that has a gun. I don't think you'd give it to me after I tell you what I want to do with it. And pills, what a coward's way. So lately, the last week, I've been thinking, if you take a couple of people out with you, now that's a hero's death. In Ireland, they know all about that. Now, who is bothering me right now? No one's supposed to be coming here.
Do you want me to answer the door?
Yeah? Hello? Hi.
Ew.
Can you go to John Janik's house and get that jacket? Do you know what his phone number is? You want to ask Kathy to call him?
Okay.
Son of a bitch thinks he can steal that coat from me. He's got a big fucking problem. One of the solutions would be to become a mafiosi. Because then you can fuck around. Got a little extra power. You pay in the end, you know what I mean? It's just a thought. It's the only thing that puts a smile on my face. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, we'll take care of it,
You are.
Yeah.
You're already there. Huh?
No, the thing is that you gotta,
What? Well,
I said to
really fast.
Emilio, I said, I really like to pop a couple people. He said, okay, we could, we'll arrange it. And I said to him, no, Emilio. He says to me the next day, he goes, why? What's the problem?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, the thing is, and he was so fucking impressed what I said. I said, the thing is, you don't ask other people to pop people for you. You do it yourself. He goes, now you're talking. Because as I said, I don't want to know anybody, anything like that. People have it over you for the rest of your life. So the next day, he goes, so, he's trying to help me get around those, things. I said, no. The thing is, you do it
Some people would be
yourself.
very happy to do it for you.
No, you just do it yourself. That way you don't owe a nickel to nobody. It's so immoral to ask somebody to do that dirty business for you.
Is it?
No. You do it yourself so you can get the satisfaction out of it too, You lousy mutt. You fucked my sister, huh? You took my mother's ring, huh? How do you feel now, you little fuck? Here, put your balls in your mouth. No, never mind. See, when we were little, those are the guys who really did something, you know what I mean? You didn't fuck with them, Vito and Charlie and Vinny. And there was little people, and there was the government, and the bosses, and the rich people, and then there was these other guys, who, if anything really you needed to get done, But, I didn't, in the neighborhood where I grew up in, they didn't use them much because everybody was that. They were all something. It's interesting. Well, it was a way to protect themselves. Anyway, people that do it for pleasure, I get a little afraid of those people too. I read it. I saw it.
What do you think?
What do I think about it? I think the best way to get... No, I'm not going to say that about that because you'll take it personally. The best way to get a lie to seem like the truth is to print it.
Yeah.
You know that, don't you? You'll write a book about it if it's false, Galileo, they were going to put him to death. Oh, but I guess he discovered magnetism, huh? happened to Luis?
I think he's split.
No, he isn't. He's around. That's his aunt who cleans the house.
Okay.
They all work for me, everybody in their family. It's a real problem. Because they all have problems, and if you take them seriously, then if the kid gets encephalitis, you want to send 1,000 for that. And if the, this is a big extended South American family. There's problems there. Soap opera level. Who is that? Ugh. Mitchell's Heine. Hello? Hi. Thank God. When do you want? Why don't you call me later? The opposition in this lawsuit claims that I'm totally capable of working. And I'm going for a full disability at this point. And, I came in, I was really depressed at Bellato's. And I said to him, he said, so what are you knocked up about today? And I said, well, this fucking house thing and this guy. He says, give me his fucking name. I take care of it. And I said, no, you're not going to be able to take care of it. This is a $2 million problem. He says, I said, come on, you don't kill people over money. And he says, no kill him, shit. He said, we don't kill him. We just go there and explain to him how he has to change his behavior. I said, you kind of frighten him. He goes, no, we don't frighten him. We just go there. Just go there. We don't have to do nothing. We just go there, explain how he's making you uncomfortable, and we don't like that. We don't have to do nothing, he says. Ha! Nothing against the law. I said, just gonna frighten the living shit out of him. He goes like that. Oh, I said, you're one of a kind, Mr. Emilio. And I said to him, so this was good. He liked this. I said, Emilio, you know how I know I trust you? He goes, how you can know I trust you? He goes, how? I said, I don't even know your fucking last name. I've known you for a couple of years. Have I ever asked you your last name? He goes, as a matter of fact, you never have. And I said, isn't it true that in proper Italian-American families, you never fucking ask people where they're from? And you never ask them their name. You either know their fucking name or you don't ask about it. When they want you to know it, they'll tell it to you. He says, that's right, my man. And I said, when you start asking people where they're from, that's when they start getting suspicious. What do you need to know for? Who the fuck are you? What are you, the FBI? What are you, fucking IRS? Who the fuck are you working for? Louis? Vito? What? What do you need to know where my daughter goes to school? And what the fuck is that about? They're very private people. They won't tell you shit. Who their wife's family is and where they're from and why. So it's quite interesting to me. I said, isn't it true, Emilio, that any piece of information you give anybody, they'll use it against you? He goes, abso-fucking-lutely. He said, absolutely, no question about it. I'm like, and so that's why at a basic level, I would like to take the fucking film and put it in a bottle of acid, you know what I mean? Because the film gets you in a funny way. It captures you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And I could just see my trial in 20 years. They go like, oh, but what about this? And they put that fucking film on there. And they're like, oh, I wish I could get my mouth shut on that one. You know what I mean?
Well, that's why we're saying, look at that.
It doesn't matter because it's for someone.
Bet you Nixon wished he hadn't tape recorded that office too. You know what I mean?
But for someone like you, you're completely irrepressible, so it doesn't much matter. You're. It's like.
Well, I just don't want to end up in the clink.
You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You know.
That's what that's about.
It does. This is. No, what you say is true. You know, is that when you print it, it's live, but you seem to ask for something printed, so that's why I brought something printed.
Well, I didn't ask for it. I kind of teased you with the fact that you can't do anything with this shit if I don't want you to.
Yes, understood.
Which I kind of like that really well because I feel exposed.
But I'd like to talk to you, about this whole idea of a post-production project and about the possibility of setting up an editing system and doing some work, and that you would be involved in it, and somehow, and I know, you know, to like to go to the old salon. We talked to you about that once before, and just to do something and try what it's like.
Jason is going to be moving back into the old salon,
Okay.
and we're going to sell the place on Hudson Street as a lessening of responsibilities and an increasing of capital.
What is
Money.
sell it? Do you that's a lease or no?
It's a lease.
Yeah, so you can
When
sell
I got
this.
that place, it had holes in the cement floor. I mean, big
Uh-huh.
holes that you could see down through. I mean, it was in really bad shape. And I'm looking to pull about 350,000 out of that.
Uh-huh.
And to me, that's a large amount of money, especially if it's self-earned. I mean, I'm not getting it from somebody. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's an asset of
move
mine
back-
that's continuously draining me of money
Yeah.
because I have to maintain it.
Yeah.
And it's very much like acreage. I can have a more efficient farm with less land.
Yeah.
And let
When's
them.
he moving back in?
As soon as he can, probably the first of the year.
Oh, soon.
Soon.
So that'll mean that there'll be less economic drain on you.
I by about $25,000 a month.
Well, that's great because
It's-
you'll be able to.
Well, it's like
You'll
someone
be able to
taking.
throw it right in there.
Well, it's like somebody taking a hot poker and removing it from your ass.
Yes.
You still got 3 more pokers. Do you know?
What does my friend Herb Bronstein says? I have several irons in the fire, waiting. I'm waiting for one to come home to roost.
Well, life has a way of leaving its brand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What about the apartment on?
Which apartment? You guys need what
Yeah,
you
we need
needed
space.
a
We need
few
production
years
space.
ago. You need space, but how much space do you need?
You need a room.
Size of this room.
But that you can go to at any time.
Yes.
There are restrictions on this.
What room? There's restrictions. What?
Well, there's a quality about the space. It's not just in the daytime. It's not. You know what I
It's
mean. You
probably
need
gonna
to
be
be
mostly
able to,
nighttime.
It has to be accessible to
like crazy people working
No,
on a
all-
project.
just like us three. Has to be
You don't
accessible.
mind turning that off, do you?
No.
Okay, thank you.